Hello, Zer0 Books readers and listeners. It's me again, Douglas Lain, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I don't really have a script. I am just going to be talking off the cuff about what I think is going on in the world. Specifically, I'm concerned about the COVID-19 virus and how it's coming up right at the same time as the wheels are falling off of the Bernie Sanders campaign for president in the United States. I feel as though, of course, my perspective is myopic in so much as I'm an American and I'm looking at this very much through my own cultural lens. But it does seem to me that what we have, at least here, is a moment where the administration, the Trump administration, has truly been exposed as incompetent, venal, dishonest, but most importantly, incompetent. And at the same moment, the main challenger to Trump is on the campaign trail. His name is Joe Biden, and not Bernie Sanders. He's a little bit unhinged. Joe Biden, to me, doesn't seem fully competent or capable. And at this moment, we very much need not only somebody who's capable, but I think we need some new approach to social life, actually. I think we need a new way of organizing ourselves so that we can truly be resilient against this virus. This virus is not neutral. This is an important point to understand, not so much in order to be able to blame the people in power now or to create a perspective where you kind of feel victimized by the world, things could be better, but also to kind of take a Steven Pinker-like approach to the problem and realize that part of the reason why this pandemic is so threatening is because the conditions of our life, at least generally and in the West especially, have improved. And by that I mean you have to consider life expectancy and the improvements in hygiene that have developed over the last century, say, and now have created a moment where a virus that really mostly causes a death in people over the age of 60 can seem to be a catastrophe and really not just threaten people's lives, but threaten the everyday functioning of our whole world system, world economy, I guess. But I don't want to just say economy. I want to think of it more as the practical side of life, that we not only is the stock market plunging, but supply chains are being broken and there's runs on toilet paper. People can't find everyday items in the shops. Schools are closing. My own son has been under quarantine. He's in South Korea, and he's been inside his host family's house, not allowed to leave for 3 weeks. I talked to him last night, and I asked him how he was doing, and he said that he was terminally bored, which to me meant that he wasn't frightened or sick. So those are good things. But I think that we need to understand that all of this catastrophe is arising in a historic moment, one in which the conditions we're used to are being threatened, but those conditions themselves are an improvement. And this moment does not mean that life itself is just a nightmare and we should all take the black pill. As a would-be socialist, I also want to consider and think through how it is that the capitalist system has created conditions where we are unable to rationally respond to a pandemic like this. In the United States, we are unprepared when it comes especially to testing. We don't have enough of the test kits available to be able to monitor our population, to be able to know who's sick and who isn't, to be able to effectively quarantine people and to effectively stop the spread of the virus. From the way I'm looking at it, we've got the COVID-19, we've got the coronavirus, or as my kid calls it, the Crayola virus, and he's 15. I don't know why he calls it that, but we have it. We just don't know to what extent, and it's going untreated, and we're headed for a real disaster. And the reason why is because in the United States, the decisions around health are made through the market. They're made through this privatized system. The U.S. government, for instance, relied on private pharmaceutical companies to produce the tests, and also I believe the monopolization of the pharmaceutical industry created a situation where one factory's error, one bad batch, basically stopped the supply of these tests altogether for our country. I've heard rumors that we turned down an offer from the World Health Organization to get tests from them, to get these kits from them, said we'd make it ourselves. I don't know if that's true. I'll verify that and actually put that in the show notes. But I do know that the focus has been in the United States on the economy for a variety of reasons. One is that, we're always going to be focused on the economy. The U.S. state and every bourgeois state whole job is to keep the capitalist economy going. So it makes perfect sense that when something like the COVID-19 or novel coronavirus comes along, the first thing that you're going to think about is how will it affect the business cycle? How will it affect the banking system? How will it affect the stock market? Any president is going to think that way. Trump particularly thinks that way. He clings to that more than maybe most would in this context, because for him, coming up on an election with a very strong stock market 3-4 weeks ago, he was very concerned about making sure that all held in place. What's happening now is the last thing he wanted to see. I mean, it's not a surprise. He was more concerned with himself than he was with the public's well-being. But, it's not just Trump. The unfortunate reality of our life is that we live within a system that aims at producing a kind of value that isn't in service of human beings. We get lucky to consume kind of the shit that the capitalist system produces. Every commodity that is produced as an afterthought. The true purpose is not to create things for human consumption, not to create real wealth, but to create this abstract value, which you can see as digits in on Wall Street, or you can see it as dollar bills stacked up in a bank or in your wallet. But it isn't about creating things for human need or even for human desire, but it is instead aimed at creating this abstract value that can be measured in labor time. And because of that, we are always in service of it rather than it being in service of us. Trump is an extreme example, but we are already caught in a system that's inhumane and, I think, unjustifiable. Thanks for watching this Zer0 Books video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to this channel and click on the notifications bell so that you'll be alerted whenever we release a new video. You should also consider supporting us on Patreon. Our patrons get access to our Inside Zer0 Books podcast every week and can get access to the Zer0 Books book club and help us to continue making online content from the left.